And how cool was it, like finally getting that sort of big break, let's say, with Bentley? Like when you got the
Um,
phone call or email or whatever it was, text,
yeah,
WhatsApp, I
it's
don't
actually
know.
it's a funny story, to be honest. I kind of had the break, then got it taken away from me, and then got it again, and now.
How did that happen?
So basically, a little bit of a background story. Obviously, Bentley's a smaller brand, and as you may know, in endurance racing, like Europe as a whole is a big market. The world is a big market, and if you look at GT3, you've got IGTC, which is like the world kind of thing. GT World Challenge Europe covers Europe, and in Germany is a big car market, and that's where Nürburgring and GT Masters as a championship actually is two big players. And Bentley had kind of two factories. Well, they had their main factory team, which was M Sport, but then they also supported Abt Sportsline when they had a contract for for Germany, sorry, to do
Apt have a
Nürburgring 20.
Bentley program.
They had, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's from 2016 and just 2 years actually, 2016,
Oh,
2017.
cool.
So because I drove for Abt in 15 in an Audi, they kind of got me into the program, but not as any link to any, like I said, with an amateur. And I proved myself, and that kind of got me the first big break, where I drove with Abt, signed my first professional contract. It was pretty cool to start negotiating money to get paid. Is always the
Oh,
step you want to
that's a
take.
great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of money, but to me it was a lot, like which was incredible. And I did that for 2017, and I was so grateful for that. App gave me that first opportunity. They trusted in me early on, and they convinced Bentley that, because I was still a young kid then, and they convinced Bentley that I am ready to take on the challenge of Nürburgring, and which was awesome. And it was kind of a tough one. You hope that your first big break, you have a great result, and ultimately went out the pits on my first. So I went out the pits, like out lap, first lap of the race. Nick Schredenkreuz, my right rear wheel fell off. So
Oh
only
dear.
a flat sixth gear left-hander. You don't want your right rear wheel to depart, and it did. Luckily, somehow it lodged in the disc, and then I managed to meet the team. Actually met me halfway around the track in one of the exits. But that's the crazy thing about the race, and they changed it, and I pulled away, and I just got lapped. So we were only one lap down, like super lucky. We thought, okay, we're still in it. Came into the pits they changed the suspension in like, I think 3 minutes, the whole right side. It was incredible to go out and have an ABS failure that wasn't picked up. And it was a problem we struggled with all weekend. And I braked for turn one, and there was no brakes, no warning, no anything, straight into the wall. So that was it. And I was like, fucking hell, like how bad can it be, Your
Yeah.
first big break, I went through all the build-up races, everything perfect, never did a thing wrong. And the one that counts, I've had a wheel fall off and I've put it in the wall. And I'm like, what? That's it, career done. Then the team would, like, they knew it wasn't my fault. Bentley knew it wasn't my fault. And they put a third car in for Spa that year. And it was kind of like my second chance, and did an amazing performance, made top 20 quali, like out qualified the full-time factory drivers on the M Sport cars, which was good. Personal performances in the race, mega. But the sad part was App's program came to an end then. I think there was too much political things behind the scenes. But Bentley said, look, for 2018, we want you, one of our drivers was Oliver Jarvis at the time. And actually, funny story, he's now manages me. if he
Does he?
if
I
he
didn't.
left, yes, we just newly started, which was a really good relationship. I get on really well with him. And if he was going to stop with Bentley, I would be put in. And I only drove until July, and then I had nothing on. But I had that in the back of my mind, the new car coming. They planned me for development testing with them, and they said, if Oliver stays, when Guy Smith retires end of 18 or middle of 18 or whatever, you'll be in then. So it was basically just a matter of time. They trusted me, whatever. But on the flight, on the way to the one endurance test, I get a phone call, literally just as we're on, like, taxing back, from Matt Wilson. And he's like, look, I know you're coming over to the test, but you can turn around if you want to based on the news I'm going to give you. And I'm like, what's going on? Said, we've been kind of given the opportunity to sign Jules Gunon at the time, and we didn't want to miss out on it. And that's after the year that he had. He was really quick in GT World Challenge Europe. He just won ADAC GT Masters. So he was kind of a hot property at the time. And they said, we've signed him. We've signed the deal. Like, we just signed the deal. So there's no seat for you. And I was like, well, Matt, I'm actually literally on the way. I can't get off the plane. So I'm coming regardless, you know? And then I was left with nothing, and they still wanted to keep the relationship. I had nothing. I was like, how shit can it be? You know, one opportunity fell away, got the next chance. That's gone away before I even had a chance to prove myself. And then 2 rounds into 2018 season, Guy Smith decided to retire. And then, yeah, that's when I got my first full-time break and didn't look back since, you know. And I was glad that the team still gave me that opportunity. It didn't come the way we planned, but, you know, at the end, things happen for a reason. And I had a great 2018, 19, and 20 season as a Bentley driver. And ultimately, the growth I took throughout those years, you know, I think I was like from where I started to where I ended up. I think I was so grateful for it. You know, I think your first factory gig and your first few years as a factory driver, although you think you're ready for the level, you know, there's still new factors that present themselves. And I definitely am grateful for the chance that they gave me. I'm sad it ended so early because I think we had something so great and unique as a small brand fighting against the big dogs. But yeah, in the end, it was incredible. And yeah, like you asked, Jake, it was amazing to have that first break, and I think that's something that I push towards to having again. You know, that feeling and that satisfaction is incredible.
Yeah, so you know, last year was a difficult year for a lot of brands, drivers, whatever, with COVID.
Yeah.
But we come to the end of last year, and in last year, as you said, you know, your final year as a Bentley driver. So can you like talk to us about like what happened with Bentley coming to an end? I know if listeners go back, you can hear Seb's take on things.
Yeah.
And as you said, he put it so eloquently. So, but it'd be good to hear your side of it, mate. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, you can sit here and I can say how unfair it is and stuff like that you just get dropped in end of November and stuff like that by the program. But ultimately, going racing at a factory level is not down to just Bentley Motorsport. It wasn't down to just Bentley Motorsport. It wasn't down to myself. It's down to Bentley as a whole, you know. And ultimately, it kind of came at the right time, COVID, I think, for them to relook at things and see where they're spending money. And when a small brand like that, a luxury car brand, takes some heavy hits in the market, they have to look at cutting ties of things. And motorsport's a luxury at the end of the day. You know, it's a marketing tool, but it is a luxury. And when the whole world is also going on this EV train and this like emissions like focus and drive, you know, of producing electric vehicles and stuff like that, to market something that's a V8 gas guzzling machine is no longer like fundable, you know. And I think also it's like doesn't make sense to them. So it went from the program being talked about middle of the year and beginning of 2020 to growing, and the plans for the future were looking amazing. It's also why I had the opportunity in 2019 to switch for 2020 to another brand. I look back and go, I should have taken it. Not going to mention which brand, but it's definitely one that's.
No, go on.
Nah, I can't. It's one of the big ones, and it's one of the ones that I think will stick around forever. But I chose Bentley for the right reasons. I enjoyed the smaller family environment of it. I enjoyed where I was at within the program. I think every driver within their own brand works to be up at the top of their brand, and you know. And I think I found my role within Bentley, and I started to become one of the more influential roles. And we went on to win Bathurst in 2020, and the package was all linking up, which makes it so sad because we formed something so great with the plan for a bigger future, you know, to grow it, to expand it, to look at other options. And not saying that those don't come back, but, you know, like stuff like LMDH obviously everyone mentioned and spoke about and all those type of things. And then to all of a sudden, everything getting pushed on. Okay, we're going to start negotiating. And I don't know, I think it was like September or probably even earlier than that, August. Oh no, we have to wait for board meetings because then everything obviously needs to get approved. And it got pushed to the point where it was like something's fishy. And then you get it confirmed, okay, program's cut, it's done, you know? And that's when you're like, fuck, like what do I do now? Sorry for the bad language, but it's just the truth. And it sucks being a racing driver, and it's such a shit place to be in. I wish no driver has to ever go through it, because like, what do? Your life, you're dependent on it. It's like racing is our job. To be a professional racing driver is our job. It's not a luxury. It's not anything. At the end of the day, we do it to not only we do it because we love motorsport, but we do it to pay the bills at the end of the day. And it's like, what do? I'm done. Like, how am I going to make a living? How am I going to earn anything? Like, that's the first thing that goes through your mind. And it's just like, it's a shame, because nobody needs to be dropped at the age of, I don't know, like, I'm still young in the sport, but nobody also needs to be dropped at the end of November. And the timing was not like, it's not like they planned to do it. It's not like they held us on and just dropped. And it's also not like I got dropped because of poor performance. You know, I didn't see it coming, didn't see anything happening. But it's like, it doesn't make anything easier, you know? It's like, where do you go from there? And it's I think the whole fact that last year got carried out as a late delayed season because of COVID didn't help the fact that we were getting dropped in November, you know?
Yeah.
I think COVID just makes it, you know, it compounds it even more, doesn't it? Because if motorsport was
exactly.
still in a strong place, but it was just Bentley's problem on, you know, board level, you know, you would stand a much better chance right now of looking to get a seat elsewhere, keeping your ass in the seat. And it was just unfortunate because now the teams, customer teams or manufacturers, they don't have the same confidence, let alone money, in motorsport right now. It's the same for the rest of the world, really.
Exactly. And I think a lot of us here can relate to that. And I hope that some people listening, like, just like also see that it's not the end of the world. You know, at the end of the day, I believe there's going to be big opportunities coming, and you can give up. And I've been through many tough times in my career already. So to give up now is pointless. And that's not what I did. You know, I picked up the phone straight away, and luckily I had made some great links with people, and there was a lot of phone calls that went on. I spoke to a lot of different brands. I didn't reach out to everyone because I feel that's like it's maybe the one thing to do. You can do it, but then, you know, I rather touch like to people I knew and trusted and knew my ability. And managed to put together a great program in America. Super thankful for it, because it's another opportunity in a great brand. Lamborghini's really incredible. And, you know, and in the future as well, I didn't end things on bad terms with Bentley. I love the brand, love driving for the people, and the people at Bentley Motorsport were really great to me to give me the break. And, you know, if there is something that comes back, and I really wish it, because I feel they got unfinished business in a way. I feel like we turned the corner and really started to have a great program and structure. And maybe it is in something else, but I still feel there's many passionate people within Bentley Motorsport that can do good. And if the opportunity were to present itself in a different championship to go back there, and it's the right thing for my career to do it, I'll do so happily. I didn't feel the need to like slag them off in any way and say, how can you drop me? Yeah, I felt really sad or bad about it, but it's not the right reaction. You know, at the end of the day, it's ultimately beyond anyone else's decision. You know, like, COVID's bigger than anything else.
And you don't want to burn bridges either, you know, like,
No,
not just that Bentley is a brand, but even like the people that work there, you don't know where they're going to turn up. They could change brands, and you get opportunities.
I think in
there.
the sport, you're going to see the same faces 2-3 times. I've already seen some people twice around in my short career at totally different places in the world, you know. And it's like, so I think to burn bridges is the worst thing. And maybe that's the cool thing about being South African and being a bit laid back. I don't know. I don't really hold grudges against people. And, you know, I'm just grateful for where I am. And I think I got a great opportunity to grow now as a driver, a new challenge. And I think new challenges is always like help yeah, like I think they help motivate people. And yeah, I'm
Mm.
still 24, so I got a
Yeah.
long way ahead of me. At
I
least,
think
which
I,
is
I
good.
think for also for you from going from November to now, and you've already done your first race. That's quite a turnaround for people listening. Deals are done way before November.
Yeah, exactly. Every manufacturer I reached out to was like we'd love to have you, but let's pick up conversations next year again. And then
Yeah.
we picked up. There's certain things, and Nick knows it. Like races like Nürburgring 24 Hour present themselves with one-off opportunities with manufacturers and stuff like that. So I had a lot of talk and focus on those areas. And ultimately, I had a deal for that as well. Just like as things were starting to look great again, had a deal for that, and then it came to an end because calendars got moved around for COVID, and I have a clash, so had to put that to bed. And there was a few other opportunities where calendars clashed. So yeah, my program's limited, but the goal is anyway still to be back at a factory level, factory driver status, and I think I'm not going to stop till I get there, no matter where.